Now, huh? Yeah, Mazz. We told you they were going to get back in it. The season wasn't over. I told you. Huh? They're going to get a lot of that? Like Jared Carabas is trying to shovel that kind of crap? 617-779-0985. Tonight on the Baseball Hour, we'll open up the phone lines right away. 9 in a row. 9 in a row, 14 out of 16 for the Red Sox, who are back in the American League wildcard race. Woo! Woo! You sense a little sarcasm, do you? Okay, let me start here. You should be happy about your baseball team in all seriousness. You should be happy they're back in the race. But I'm going to say what I said last week. And if you forget what I said a week ago, I'm going to remind you. A week ago at this time, actually it was on Tuesday last week, before the Red Sox had played the White Sox in the first game of that series, I had said to you, okay, this is good. Good start to the road trip. Picking up where they left off. Certainly overcame that loss to the Washington Nationals where they dropped 2 out of 3 at Fenway. And I said, well, if they go to Anaheim and win all 3 there, you kind of erase the National Series and maybe you build a little momentum. And then I said to you, if they go 5-1 in the last 6 games of this road trip, 5-1 in the last 6 games, they will be, what did I say, 45-49, I think it would have been, going into the All-Star break. Not bad, within 4 games at 500, within a couple games of the wild card, and then you come out of the break, play well, and you're in it. They went 6-0. They're 46-48 in the break. Should have been a 5-1 trip, but the Mets threw up on themselves yesterday in New York. And so the Red Sox are now 2 games under 500. They are a half game out of the final wild card spot. And so lots of questions. Let me give you the good news first. We have a baseball season again. It has been resuscitated or revived. There is a baseball season in Boston again. The games will mean something coming out of the break. And the competition's going to go up a notch for the Red Sox. They play the Tampa Bay Rays right out of the gate. But for now, let's do a midseason evaluation of where they are. And I'll tell you the same thing I told you at the end of last week, which is, do I fully believe in them now? Not yet. And there's a reason. I can't believe in a team that overall has a losing record. I just can't do it. Never in baseball history, in a full season, I'm eliminating seasons which were shortened by pandemics and or work stoppages. Never has a team made the playoffs with a losing record. That could change this year in Major League Baseball based on the current status and composition of the American League. It's certainly in play. But I can't get behind a team like that. The only team to ever get in with a record that was basically as close to 500 as possible was the Padres, I think, in the 80s, got in at 82-80. They then made the playoffs and got swept. So they finished 82-83 that season. If you count the playoffs, they finished with a losing record. But no team in Major League history has ever played a full baseball season, finished with a losing record, and made the playoffs. So I just can't get behind a team that is under 500 still. Now, is it close? Is it a couple of games? Yes. And when they get over 500, if they get over 500 and are simultaneously in possession of a playoff spot, well, then I'm in. That to me is what the defining line is, given what the way the American League has gone this year. A team that is over 500 with a winning record and also in possession of a playoff spot, which this year in the American League really isn't going to take much. If the Red Sox get over 500, they're going to be in possession of a playoff spot based on the way the league has gone this year. So if those two things happen, fine. All bets are off. Time to play ball. Let's go. In the interim, I'll tell you there's a lot to like about this team and the way they're playing and the way they're winning that flies in the face of a lot of the analytics in baseball, which I love. Yesterday, the final 2 rallies for the Red Sox. I'm just going to give you this quickly, or try to. In the ninth inning, Rafaela, I believe, was it a full count? No, I'm sorry. It was the third pitch. So my bad. 1-1 pitch. Change up away, 82 miles an hour. Very defensive swing. You know what Rafaela did? He got the bat on the ball and dumped a soft line drive into left field for a single. You could call it a blooper. It wasn't really a blooper. It was more like a soft line drive. But he put the bat on the ball, got a single to left field. Abreu popped out. Gonzalez hit a hard ground ball to shortstop. This is where the Mets' ineptitude factored in. That Francisco Lindor booted. Could have been a game-ending double play. Instead, should have been a game-ending double play. Instead, the Red Sox ended up with first and second, one out. Caleb Durbin walked on a 3-2 pitch. The Mets challenged. The ball was just below the strike zone, maybe a good inch or two. So, bad challenge by the Mets, good walk by Durbin, good at bat, and there you go, bases are loaded. Then Devin Williams, the Mets reliever, walked the next guy, Monasterio, also on a full count pitch. Actually, it might have been less than that. Hold on. Nope, 3-2. Walked him to force in a run. Now it's 2-1. Jarren Duran then hit a blooper into right field. Much more of a blooper. Short fly ball. Pop-up. Infield was in, so the second baseman couldn't go back and get it. If the infield were back, the second baseman probably would have caught it. Right fielder comes in, slides, awkwardly I might add, right-handed throwing right fielder, slides and tries to backhand the ball. The ball's on his right side. Why didn't he slide so that the glove was on the left? Bad play. Ball drops. Run scores. 2-2. And then Yoshida lines into a double play that the second baseman grabs and gets a force at second. Didn't love the fact that Monasterio got doubled off. It was a hard hit ball, but nonetheless, you got to make sure the ball goes through. Inning over. So the Red Sox sent all those men to the plate. You know what didn't happen? Nobody struck out. Nobody struck out. Blue pit, hard ground ball, walk, pop-up, line drive. The two hardest hit balls in the inning were the ground ball by Gonzalez, which left the bat at 101 miles an hour, and Yoshida's line drive, which turned into a double play at 101.7. Neither one of those resulted in a hit. And then in the ninth, you know what the Red Sox did? Ghost runner at second base, extra innings. Connor Wong bunts. The Red Sox used to play for 2 runs in this situation on the road. This time they played for 1. So they bunted him to third. The next guy, Siegler, hits a hard, deep liner to left that gets caught. Sacrifice fly. That was the third hardest hit ball of the last 2 innings. Actually, the second hardest hit. But the point is, the 3 balls that the Red Sox hit hardest in the 9th and 10th innings, Yoshida, 101.7 miles per hour. Gonzalez, 101 on the nose. Siegler, 101.1. None of them resulted in a hit. So the Red Sox had a little bit of a horseshoe up their ass, but they put the bat on the ball. They manufactured a run. They played contact. They did fundamental things, and they won the game. Now they're in it. So here are some of the questions. A, do you believe yet? I told you, I'm holding out. Big homestand coming up out of the break. 10 games against all division opponents, starting with the Tampa Bay Rays, who are in first place. The Red Sox are 1-5 against the Rays. Then the Orioles come in. The Red Sox are 3-3. Then the Blue Jays come in, and the Red Sox are 1-5. Add it all up, and the Red Sox are 10-17 against the entirety of the American League East. Against those 3 teams, it's actually 13? So they've kind of gotten their asses kicked by at least 2 of those 3 teams. They're also underwater at Fenway Park, losing record. So the real test will come after the break. But they've played their way back in. They've basically dug out of that hole. Let me give you one final thought. That when you talk about teams getting to 500, maybe you believe it's a foregone conclusion that the Red Sox will now get back to 500 and go above it. I don't. I've seen it a million times where a team gets close to 500, and I said earlier today on Felger and Mazz, it's kind of the equivalent of being 20 points down in an NBA game, where you spend a lot of energy and effort getting close, and you get to within 3, you get to within 5, maybe 6, down to 2, but you can never really get over the hump because the opposition doesn't let you, and you might not have enough really artillery or energy or bolt to do it. There is a barrier there, a psychological barrier that means a lot to a team when you can get to 500 and get above, because the season can start anew when you get back to sea level. I'm not convinced they're going to get there yet. Right now, it looks like a given. But they don't play another game until 4 more days, really. So, then when they do come back, what do you do when Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer are ready to play? You just drop them right in there? Because I don't. I'm certainly not dumping Meyer back in there. And Trevor Story, same thing, by the way. No thanks. Rehab assignments, guys. Let's see how you play. Let's see how the team's doing. We'll make an assessment when you're ready to go and see where we're at. Based on what I'm seeing right now, I don't want Marcelo Meyer anywhere near this team. I'm debating it on Roman Anthony and Trevor Story. I would prepare for a nice long rehab assignment in the minor leagues. I don't want any of those guys near the field with the way these guys are playing right now, because Anthony, Meyer, Story all probably have more talent than most of the guys that are on the field right now. But the grind factor and the ability to put the ball in play and the ability to have productive at-bats and what you would call productive outs, I'll take the guys in the lineup right now. Trevor Story's a strikeout machine. Marcelo Meyer is better this year as far as strikeouts, but still strikes out a lot. Roman Anthony was striking out a crap ton early in the season. If that doesn't change, I'm not sure I want him back in any real rush either. That's where we start tonight on the Baseball Hour, 617-779-0985. Your calls when we come back.
The Baseball Hour.
Guys having their fun. Jared Carabas. What was that in the background? Jimmy Stewart right at the end. Is the momentum going to continue after the All-Star break in the background? Probably not. Did you hear that? Who was that? Milliken? Is that Milliken in the background?
It's either Tyler, Coley, or it's Steve. I'm not sure.
Can you play the very end? Just again, the very little bit. The momentum. Is it going to continue? Stay tuned.
It sucks. It's not about what your record is. It's about how many games back are you. And they're a half game back entering the All-Star break. Another year. It's another year of winning a bunch of consecutive baseball games going into that All-Star break. The momentum, is it going to continue in the second half? Stay tuned. Probably not, but it's fine.
That's Tyler.
Probably not. Attaboy, Tyler. Attaboy.
Stay tuned. Probably not, but it's
very good, Tyler. Attaboy. I like the music, though, Jimmy. You told me the name of it, but I don't think I can repeat it on the air.
No, I was stunned when I found out the name of the song.
Okay, yeah, no, it's pretty graphic in nature.
Parent member, F word, go.
Okay. So it's like the show and go Red Sox, that kind of thing, I guess.
Mother bleeper, go.
Oh, okay, there you go. Mother bleeper, go. There you go. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, let me just give like a 20-second rebuttal. Can you give me the music? Okay, Jared. Here we go, Section 10. Everybody running around with little pant tents. First time since 1977, they went 9-0 on a road trip. 9-0, first time since 77. That team didn't make the playoffs either. Suck on that. Oh, and the teams they beat on this trip? Angels, worst record in baseball. Mets, second worst record in the National League. White Sox, they were in a stretch where they lost 6 out of 8 games and scored 21 runs in the 8 games. That's less than 3 runs a game. Sock. Will they continue the momentum coming out of the All-Star break? No! All right, Jimmy, kill the music. It's fine. All right, so I want to get back to your calls here, but again, the questions of the night. Do you believe? Do you believe? Have you changed your mind? I'm not quite all the way there yet. And more importantly, what do you do with Meyer? What do you do with Roman Anthony? How do you handle those guys when the team is playing as well as it's playing right now? And make no mistake, the Red Sox, that thing yesterday, the bunting with the ghost runner on in the 10th inning. I looked this up quickly because to me this is an important thing. And our buddy John Germain at Boston Sports Inf. Let me give you the actual numbers based on the manager. The Red Sox this season have 18 sacrifice bunts. They had 2 in 27 games with Alex Cora. Okay, 27 games, but we're going to do it on a percentage basis. They bunted 7.4% of the games with Alex Cora as the manager. They executed a sacrifice bunt. With Chad Tracy, in 67 games, they've sacrificed 16 times, which is 24%. Once every four games. Pretty close to once a series, at least, they sacrifice bunt. And you want to hear this stat? I looked this one up over the weekend, and I had to add to it after yesterday's win. When the Red Sox won on Saturday, they had sacrifice bunted, in 5 straight games for the first time in over 30 years. Nobody bunts anymore. Although the numbers are going up overall throughout baseball in the last, call it 3 or 4 years, which I'm encouraged to hear. It sounds like the nerds are actually getting a clue and understanding the situational baseball. But the Red Sox have bunted now 6 games in a row for the first time since 1993. You know when the last time the Red Sox bunted in 7 straight games or more is? Jimmy Stewart, if you had to guess, a sacrifice bunt in 7 consecutive games or more, meaning in this case it was 8 games. But the last time they've bunted in at least 7 consecutive games and succeeded at sacrifice bunt, 1946. Okay, you got to go back 70 freaking years. 70 years to figure that one out. We'll take your calls and throughout the balance of the hour here. We'll kick it off tonight with Matt in Waltham on Jarren Duran. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Mazz. Thanks for taking the call. Totally agree with your point about not wanting guys like Meyer and Story around when they come back. One guy I would add to that list is Jarren Duran. I truly don't understand the slack that this guy gets. It's the middle of July, and he's batting 194. His on-base percentage stinks, too, with like 26%. And he strikes out a crap ton. He leads the team in strikeouts by almost 30. I would much rather play a guy like Nate Eaton, a scrappy guy, or someone like Yoshida that's going to give you good big league at-bats over Jarren Duran, who just gets up there, hacks away. And that bloop single yesterday, that should have been caught. And even going back to his quote-unquote walk-off against the Yankees, if the Yankees are running a 3-man outfield, that's a routine flyout. I have seen enough of Jarren Duran, and I think if this team wants to go anywhere in the second half, he's got to go to the bench. Okay, so Matt, I'll tell you what, I'm not a big Duran fan either. I never really have been, although 2 years ago he had a fabulous year. Stuck it in my face that year. So, I can't take that season away from him, although I did say at the time, I thought the Red Sox should really explore moving him after the season. He's never been my kind of player. Jarren Duran's an athlete and a good one. He's not a baseball player, if you catch a drift. There were just 2 completely different things going on there. And the biggest upset of that rally yesterday was that Jarren Duran made contact. Okay, that was the biggest upset of the day, that he made contact. Because the Red Sox strikeout problem, let's face it, the strikeout problem that they had at the beginning of the year, Trevor Story was a big part of the problem. Jarren Duran was a big part of the problem. Roman Anthony, big part of the problem. Who am I leaving out? Marcelo Meyer striking out less than he did a year ago, but nonetheless strikes out a lot, can't hit a breaking ball. So he's a part of the problem. All of a sudden, the Red Sox are putting the ball in play. They're hitting sacrifice flies. They are bunting runners over. They're playing small ball, which, love it or hate it, when you have the kind of pitching that they have, if you can scrap out a run a couple times a game and then get a 2-run hit, you can win, which is pretty much what they've done during this stretch. Now, are they beating bad teams? Yes, although the White Sox are above 500. They're actually 5 games over. But
other than that, yeah, they're beating bad teams. They're also sweeping them. So the series coming out of the break is going to be huge. 4 games with Tampa, and they've owned you this year. They've won 5 out of 6. David in a car comparing the Red Sox to 1977. Go ahead, David.
Great, Mazz. Thanks for taking the call. Yeah, I mean, you're right. That 77 team didn't make the playoffs, but you know what? They did one thing exceptionally well. They hit the ball. And as far as this team goes, would I put Meyer and Roman Anthony back in when they came in? Absolutely not. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the last thing I'll say is you got a good point about them getting back to sea level, and that's just about the time they're going to go back out to sea. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah, so David, look, I just don't think it's a slam dunk that all of a sudden they're going to get over 500. And frankly, this was true last year, the year before, that the break really comes at a bad time for them. And they're playing their best baseball of the year, by far. The pitching's been exceptional, and that will probably continue. I mean, I believe in their pitching. Their pitching is good. And I do think that some of the decisions they made on the healthy guys or unhealthy guys, whether it's Suarez or Early, and I'm not telling you they're all phantom injuries. I'm just saying that, you build in an IL stint around the trade or the All-Star break, rather, a guy misses fewer games than he otherwise would have. So it's not a bad way to go to put a guy on the IL right around the middle of right around the All-Star break and let him recharge a little bit. A lot of times teams will do it without putting a guy on the injured list. For example, if you pitched on, let's say, Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and then you don't pitch until Sunday coming out of the break, you basically get yourself a nice little 10-day vacation if you're a starting pitcher. I mean, that's pretty good. So, assuming the Red Sox come out in the second half and they're healthy, see what the atmosphere and the environment's like at Fenway Park later in the week. But right now, it looks like you're going to get some meaningful games. I do believe, however, that right now, the reason you're in it is because the league stinks. So that's the number one reason you're in it. You're in it. You're half game out and you're 2 games under 500. If the third wildcard team were an 86, 87 win team, even 88, which is what it's been in other years, you'd have a long way to go. But it's not. So that's why I say they got to get over 500 and they got to actually get in possession of the wild card spot, or one of them. And then we can talk about the legitimacy of the season. But what to do with the trade deadline now takes on new meaning. I think the Red Sox should add. And for different reasons. I'll explain when I come back. Kevin Majori's got your headlines, and we'll take more of your calls on the Baseball Hour. 3 weeks away. August 3rd is the deadline this year. And I would tell you the plan for the deadline for the Red Sox should be pretty simple. Felger said this earlier today, and it's a good point. Earlier in the year, when the Red Sox were going bad and they were still entertaining the idea at the time of adding to the roster before the season got away from them, they were talking about taking on money to go get a right-handed bat. Now, you can interpret that in a lot of different ways. Does that mean you take on a high-salaried player, like, for example, a Mike Trout? Or does that mean you take on a guy who's grossly overpaid and has a bad contract to be able to get someone who's good? And, again, I'm going to try to give you just a, pedestrian example. I don't think they would ever do this. But Fernando Tatis Jr. has like 11 years left on his contract. If you took him on from the Padres, they'd have to give you something to take that contract. So you could get a good prospect, good minor leaguer, someone else who might be able to help your team, but you get the idea. In other words, there's the tax of taking on a bad contract. I'd be surprised if the Red Sox did that. But I'll tell you what they should be looking for, and that's a legitimate right-handed bat. And if it means from a small market who has a contract or at least a little bit of one, I'll give you the perfect example. Byron Buxton is 32 years old. He's hit about 270 over the last few years. Last year, I think he hit 38 home runs, 36 home runs. I don't have it in front of me. This year, having another good year, batting right around 270. Good outfielder. Could play center or right at Fenway Park if you wanted to leave Raphael in center. The contract isn't prohibitive. He's got this year and then 2 more at somewhere in the $15 million range. So the contract is actually kind of a bargain. So could you make that kind of deal, but you'd have to give up some premium prospects? And the reason I would say I would do it, independent of how many more games the Red Sox win, you need a right-handed hitter for your system going forward. And if you think Franklin Arias is going to come up from the minor leagues and help, good. I'm not telling you he's not. But as we've learned with Meyer and Anthony and other guys from the minor leagues, they don't come up and become number 3 hitters right away. That takes time. So you'd give someone like Franklin Arias a couple of years to adapt to the big leagues. So another caller had an idea. If you're going to aim high. Offer Franklin Arias and 1 or 2 of your pitchers in a deal and go get Bobby Witt from Kansas City. Then you're talking. We'll get to your calls. I see a number of you lined up. I'm not surprised. You win 14 out of 16, that'll happen. So the only thing I ask is that you try to get to the point quickly so I can get to everybody here in the last little bit of the program. Eric is in Reading. Eric, go ahead.
Please just don't get rid of Duran because he could totally turn into an awesome Brett Gardner-ish kind of ball player who would be a useful, needed, necessary piece on the next World Series team. Thanks, Mazz. Bye.
Okay. See you later on Duran. I'm not holding on to Jarren Duran. There's too many headaches there. And you want to tell me you think he can be Brett Gardner? Great. He'll have to do it somewhere else. You can replicate what Brett Gardner gave you or gave the Yankees. And in fact, Duran's not coming close to being Brett Gardner right now. Hitting under 200 is not going to get it done. I don't care what the average is in Major League Baseball in any year. 194, whatever the number is right now, is not good enough. Sean's in Salem. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, getting to 500 can suck the energy out of a team, but adding in a deadline can inject new life into it as well, right? And regardless why we're in it, Breslow should use this to set the tone for the culture around here, reward these players that are busting their butt to save the season and his job, get rid of Anthony and Meyer, negative attitude, and I think that'll go a long way with fans and the players.
So, look, I agree, Sean, in that. I don't think anything should be gifted to those 2 guys, but I do treat Meyer and Anthony different because I think their cases are different. First of all, one guy's a better hitter who has had some success in the big leagues. As little as it was, we've seen it with Anthony. We've seen it. With Meyer, we've seen nothing. And I don't know how serious he really is about his career. So, and here's the other thing. You have a guy coming up in the minor league in Franklin Arias, or minor leagues, who plays the same position that Marcelo Meyer does. So if I have 2 young shortstops, why do I need both? In fact, if you can tell me you can trade both and get Bobby Witt Jr., okay, I would do that. I don't think that's going to be enough from Kansas City, given the kind of player that Witt is. But you see what I'm talking about, the shortstop position. Just by having Arias, that makes Meyer expendable. In fact, the more I think about it, Meyer should have been expendable before his stock dropped. Given how good Arias is, unless the Red Sox really don't believe that Arias can play defensively at the position in the big leagues, and the reason I say you just don't know sometimes what they're thinking is everybody always talked about Roman Anthony like he was some kind of stud outfielder, and then we saw him play and realized he might be a DH. So they're going to hype up guys to be what you're going to try to sell them as. And at the end of the day, Roman Anthony's about the bat. But you get the idea. If they like Arias, Meyer should be gone. That's an easy one if you ask me. Ron's in Worcester. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, Mazz, I agree with everything what you say, and a lot of my friends do too. I just want to make the point that anybody could beat the Angels, and the Mets really sucked. They blew that game. They should have won, and Bichette's hurt, and he's not doing anything to help the Mets. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, Ron, I agree with you. The competition wasn't good, although the White Sox are a decent team. I don't know if they're great, but they're decent. They have some young talent. Now, they play in a bad division. And I think right now they're 5 games over 500. So with the White Sox, you can at least look at them a little bit and say they're not pathetic. The Angels are pathetic. The Angels are the worst organization in sports. The worst organization in sports. Remember that at one time they had Ohtani and Mike Trout, and they sucked. Try pulling that off. You know how hard that is to do? Ohtani and Trout on the same roster, and I know there were some injuries in there. They've had Mike Trout for the last 10 years, some of which were tremendous years for him, and they haven't even come close to making the playoffs. That organization is wretched, and the Mets aren't far behind. And prior to that, the Red Sox had a couple of series, again, against bad teams that you can look at and say, all right, well, maybe you just caught them at a good time. They played Colorado in there, or they lost 2 out of 3 in that series. They did beat the Yankees 4 in a row, but again, that was without Judge and Stanton. And Max Fried was unavailable as well. So they've beaten up on some bad competition, but 14-2 over 16 is hard to do because, let's face it, the Red Sox aren't that good either. So they had to be playing well and certainly pitching well to execute that. Brian in Providence. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Mazz. How's it going?
Good. What do you got?
All right. So, listen, I think a lot of people, and maybe including you, I don't want to put you on the spot, were very, very mad that the Red Sox didn't go after a Bregman, before the season. And now, can we reevaluate Breslow in a sense that maybe going after Bregman was not the right move at the time? Durbin's starting to turn around a little bit. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Breslow either. But I want your comments.
Okay, so, Brian, before I let you go, let me ask you, when you say the Red Sox thought about going after Bregman, you do realize they actually wanted to sign him, right?
I realize that. However, they weren't willing to go to a certain price. And now I'm thinking, well, that was probably the right move.
Okay, no, you know what? They didn't think he was going to leave, is what it came down to. They didn't think he was going to leave, so they tried to break his balls over the contract. And the agent said to them, look, we have a better offer somewhere else. And they called the bluff, and they were wrong. That's what happened. So it's not that they weren't willing, because I think they were then willing to go to new places, except it was over. And Bregman told them to stick it in their pipe and smoke it. Okay, so if everyone wants it, this is the other part of it that I really haven't talked about yet, because first of all, I'm not convinced that Caleb Durbin is all of a sudden now the second coming of Mike Schmidt and the best third baseman in Major League Baseball. He's still below average offensively. I like the overall grit that he plays with. I certainly like some of his attributes. He's a good defender. He plays hard. He's had good at-bats lately. But are you honestly going to sit here and tell me that all of a sudden you think Caleb Durbin's going to be the starting third baseman for the Red Sox for the next 5 years? I mean, maybe he is, but I don't know if I believe that yet. And could he be a functional big league player? Sure. Yes, on the right team. They also had him hitting 5th on opening day. And he's not a number 5 hitter, not on a championship team. So let's not kid ourselves as to what, and I can give you a million arguments for why you'd rather have Bregman. The other one that I always love, Bregman sucks in Chicago, see? Well, he's always been a good hitter at Fenway Park. You can't just take the home run numbers in every sport, in baseball rather, like you do in every sport, because the field is different. The stadium is different. The dimensions are different. A guy might not be as good in another ballpark as he is in yours. Take a look at the left-handed hitters in Red Sox history. Mo Vaughn, not the same hitter when he left. Wade Boggs, not the same hitter when he left. And I know we're talking about right-handed hitters, but work with me. Some guys just hit better at Fenway it's a hitter's park. David Ortiz would have never had the career he had in Boston if he stayed in Minnesota. Not a million years. And the ballpark is part of the reason. Jake in Vermont. Jake, what do you got?
Yeah, Tony, first-time caller, long-time listener. Appreciate it. Just wanted to throw a name out there nobody's been talking about at the shortstop spot. Ellie De La Cruz is a 24-year-old switch-hitting shortstop who is absolutely electric. and in the field as well, due for a contract extension coming up that you would never get in free agency, why not make that move now? Thank you.
Okay, so again, I haven't heard that De La Cruz is going to be available on the market. Jimmy, have you heard anything about Ellie De La Cruz being available by trade?
No, but he fits the profile that the Red Sox switch hitter, can lead off, can play a good shortstop. So he fits the profile of what the Red Sox should be overspending for.
Okay, so, but I'll tell you, I'm intrigued. I mean, who's not intrigued by the talent? His OPS this year is 839. He's got 15 homers. He's got tremendous power, tremendous speed. Feels like the plate discipline is decent. It's 70 walks, so 67 walks last year, 70 the year before that, 69. Strikes out a crap ton, which I don't like. Defensively, I think he is shaky.
$1 million arm.
Okay, but Jimmy, look up some of his, if you could, look up some of his defensive metrics. I don't have them in front of me, but
I don't think they're great. He's got $1 million arm, and probably he's one of those range factor guys.
Okay, so I look at De La Cruz and I say, now if you want to tell me that you want to put him at third base or something, well then we can talk. Or you think he can play left field at Fenway Park? Like whatever. I want the offensive player. Offensively, the guy is a freak. And, I'll take all the strikeouts if he's going to hit 30 bombs and a crap ton of extra base hits with those wheels. John's in the car. John, what do you got?
I'll tell you, Tony, every time the Reds are on, when they're on, I do watch him hit. He is fun to watch. I'll give him that, De La Cruz.
Absolutely, yes.
Tony, you took my thunder a little bit. I want the kid in Minnesota. I would give him Duran. He makes nothing. He fits Minnesota perfectly. And I give him Meyer. I don't care if I lose the trade. I want them both out of here anyway. You know my feelings on Duran. Real quick, when is Crochet coming back? And Tony, I would even make Anthony a DH at that point because he throws the ball like a shot put. And look, I was calling when they were 2-14 for the record, and I want that known. I've been here all year.
Yeah, so, John, look, the Crochet, it feels like he's still a few weeks out. I mean, it doesn't feel like that's imminent. He's going to have to pitch, and he's going to have to make 3 or 4 starts in the minor leagues, I think. And I don't think he's anywhere near that yet, so we'll see how that goes. What was the other thing he said? I don't remember, in terms of where they are. All I'm telling you is this, okay? You got to get over that hump. You're not quite there yet. And when I say the hump, I mean get back to a winning record, get back and get in possession of a playoff spot, and then really force the hand of the organization. But in terms of the roster composition, I keep doing what I'm doing right now. Just keep playing the kind of baseball you're playing, small ball, with the people you're playing it with, and no free spots. Marcelo Meyer doesn't get his job back just for the hell of it. And I would even say that with Roman Anthony. When you send him when he comes back and he's ready to play. Minor leagues. Ditto for Trevor Story, by the way. The last thing I'm doing is putting more strikeouts into this lineup when all of a sudden they're scratching out runs. And their pitching is so damn good that they can win. I mean, it is about winning. I know a lot of you live it on TikTok, but it's about winning games. We'll catch you tomorrow. Majority will have your headlines here momentarily. And is it Joe Murray tonight, Stu?
It is Alex Barth.
Alex Barth tonight for Joe Murray. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Stay tuned for more of the Baseball Hour.
Hey, Big Jim here for Fanatic Sportsbook. You know Fanatic Sportsbook turning up the heat with squad bets. It's a new way to parlay, available across the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NHL.